All right, let's bring in CTV News political commentator Scott Reid. Scott, good to have you here with us today.
Hey, Renee.
So let's start with the Conservatives. Pierre Poilievre, we just heard there that, Mark Carney has 6 months to call a by-election. Where does that leave the Conservatives in the interim?
Well, they're going to have to make some swift decisions. And I know 6 months sounds like a long time, but it doesn't have to be that long. And, Pierre Poilievre is going to have to indicate which of his members of parliament are going to step down so that he can compete in that by-election. He's got to select a riding that is stone cold safe. And therefore, he has to take a member who knows that they have a safe riding and say, your career path just changed. So where does he find that person? Where does he find that riding? Then, can he appeal to the Prime Minister to call that by-election sooner rather than later? And it does alter the effectiveness that he will have as leader of the opposition, because he won't be in the Commons right away, and he'll have to stand in the wings and do all of those sorts of scrums and that kind of thing. So it leaves him with some decisions, and it has a material effect on the job that he wishes to do.
The NDP party also has some decisions to make. Who could replace Jagmeet Singh?
Well, there's lots of people, but there's a decision before that, which is, what do they want to be? And I think you're going to see a pretty bare-knuckle fight within the New Democratic movement. Do they try to reorient themselves around a middle-of-the-road, centrist approach, working from their traditional labor roots, but still looking to compete for government in the style of governments in Manitoba, in Saskatchewan, in British Columbia? And of course, Manitoba and BC have provincial governments that are NDP right now. Or do they get seized in this moment of weakness by those that are hard to the left, who say, we have to be the voice of the far left, we've got to pursue an aggressive agenda of identity politics, protest, and that fight's going to unfold, and it will dictate who runs for the leadership, because one thing is not the other, and they'll go looking for different kinds of leaders. And by the way, they'll attract different kinds of candidates depending upon what strategic decision the party takes about its own future in terms of its shape, composition, and focus.
Meantime, we know that Mark Carney and U.S. President Donald Trump will be meeting within a week. How do you see that discussion going? Could there be tension in the air?
Well, there's bound to be. I'm assuming that they will have been working on this for some time, and they'll try to the best of their possible to really try to manage the agenda in advance on this. So they know what they're going to be there to talk about. They'll know what the takeaways are. They'll know, as we say in the business, the announceables. So I think you want to try to de-risk this event, which is never possible with somebody as impetuous and as unpredictable as Donald Trump, but de-risk it by having a plan going in that's being pounded on by diplomats and the public service and political officials in advance. But look, anytime you sit down with Donald Trump, you're spinning the wheel. Is he going to show up that day and act like your friend, or is he going to be your foe and slap you in the face or in front of the cameras? And frankly, we also need to know, what's the nature of the focus going to be? Well, are we going to have, what's the nature of this economic and security agreement that we're going to try to renegotiate? What are the parameters? What are the red lines? That'll be interesting to see.
That is our time, Scott. We will have to leave it there. Scott, thank you, as always, for being here with us today and sharing your insights.
Thanks a lot, Renee. Have a great day.
You as well. That is CTV News political commentator Scott Reid.